forward, and if everybody could stand and do the Pledge of Allegiance with us.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oops. Okay, first item for tonight is I need to get a motion for approval of the minutes from the June 25th meeting.
I'm sorry, if we could do a roll call first.
Oh, sorry.
Got to do some roll.
Who is that?
Chairman David Leland,
Here.
Vice Chair Ross Schillingford,
Here.
Commissioner June Perrin,
Here.
Commissioner Philip Marquis,
Here.
Commissioner Ray Nazareth,
Here.
Adam Miller, alternate 1, Gary Speck, alternate 2.
Okay, I say again, can I get a motion to approve the minutes from the June 25th meeting?
Motion to approve the minutes of the June 25th planning and zoning meeting.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Okay, first item tonight is application number 17-0058 SPM from Our Lady Queen of Peace.
Let me swear everyone in before we get into that one. If everyone that is going to testify or present any evidence with regard to any of these quasi-judicial hearing items tonight, if you could please stand and raise your right hand for me. Do you all swear affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Okay, if you'll direct your attention to the monitor, Our Lady Queen of Peace Cemetery is highlighted in blue. It's on the north side of Southern, just west of Southern Palm Crossing and the county park, Seminole Palms Park, and the village's new RV lots. The zoning of the parcel is PR. It is approximately 53 acres, and the cemetery is looking for a major site plan modification approval for new buildings and improvements to existing buildings, which includes construction of mausoleums, columbariums, new driveways, and parking located at 10941 Southern Boulevard. There have been several administratively approved minor modifications to the cemetery over the years, and these are now reflected on the proposed site plan amendment. The applicant has also provided an anticipated construction schedule which covers the next 10 years. In addition, the applicant has provided information on future construction plans covering 10 years and beyond. And in reviewing the application, village staff considered conformity with the Village of Royal Palm Beach Code of Ordinances as pertaining to the private recreation zoning district, section 26. That's not right, 2689. The parcel size, as I stated before, is 53.01 acres and thus exceeds the minimum area required for private recreation designated property of 5 acres. The site is approximately 992.24 feet wide and thus exceeds the minimum parcel width of 200 feet of frontage. The proposed buildings meet all applicable setback requirements for this zoning district, and the site plan provides 82% of the site as pervious area and thus exceeds the minimum pervious area of 20%. Parking requirements: the applicant will be adding parking which meets village code at the time of construction of the proposed buildings. Landscape areas: this project complies with all applicable landscape code requirements. The applicant is proposing new mausoleums, columbarium, and driveways, which will be required to meet the height limitation at the time of permit review. The site plan, which is not very visible on the screen, is shown on this slide. Again, phase 1 is the from now 10 years out, and then there's additional phases 2 and 3, which cover 10 years plus. All of the uses that are being proposed are consistent with a cemetery use, and village staff is recommending approval of the application as submitted. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Is the applicant present? And would you like to make any presentation or have any comments?
And as they're approaching, if I could turn back to the commission and ask if there are any ex parte communications with regard to 17-0058 that need to be disclosed?
No.
Thank you. Go ahead, sir.
Hi, good evening, members of the board. My name is Dan Simpson. I'm with Gentile Glass Holloway Matheny and Associates. We're the agent for the applicant. We have prepared a presentation. However, the presentation that staff has provided you really hits all the points. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. So we'd like to reserve our time to answer any questions, unless the board would like to, see our presentation. But other than that, we're here to answer any questions you might have.
Okay. Are there any other comments from the general public? Then I'll go to our commissioners. Any questions or comments, Commissioner Schulford?
I just have a question about the parking.
Sure.
Is the parking that's being provided, how does it compare to requirements? Is it exceeded? The number of parking spaces required, is that exceeded in the application?
It will meet the parking requirements for the buildings that are being added. So there's maintenance buildings, which, those are more like a warehouse type of use. And then I think they're adding some additional office space.
Right. Because my question is the parking requirement exceeded by the application? Are they providing more parking spaces than is required? And if so, why?
Well, I would assume that they're providing more parking spaces than are required because that for future phases and when they have large groups of people that are coming for a burial, they're probably going to park, along the driveways. But if they run out of room there, then, there'll be parking up near the buildings.
Yeah, it just seems like, we have a code that has a certain requirement. I don't, just from the perspective of environmental and paving all of the green spaces we have, that if it's not required by code, we shouldn't. That's the only comment I have.
Just for clarification, there's approximately 25 spaces that are required as part of the project, and they're providing 29. So it's a minimal increase. There's several existing spaces there. As far as the additional parking, it's more to accommodate some of the handicap patrons that are coming into the administrative offices. So when families come in to make their arrangements, they're really provided for that. But as far as, interior to the cemetery, there's...
Right. It sounds like a marginal increase.
It is
over the
marginal.
required
Yes, sir.
amount. That's fine. Yeah, no further questions.
In addition to that, they're next to the FPNL lines, which under a large portion of the FPNL lines, there's retention ponds. So there's adequate room for runoff in that area.
Okay.
Thank you, Kevin. Mr. Herman?
No comments or questions.
Mr. Marquis?
Nothing from me, no.
Yes, I have a quick question for you, if I may. Since you have large group of people that come, because I've attended the services there for a loved one, and what is your choice to mitigate the traffic? Because I realize that, we have a large inflow of traffic, and with a large group, and even bigger groups will come from what you're describing. Can you please comment on that?
It's really not anticipated to increase the number of groups coming, because they're just arranging the same uses that are there. They're not increasing the use. They already have mausoleums, they have niches, they have, in-ground burial sites. So it's just the arrangement that this site plan really memorializes for all, an event occurs and it's going to be the same amount of people. They only hold, I think, 2 prayer events a year right now that are significant. Right. So it's not anticipated that they have 2 access points to the property right now. As you know, on Lamstein, they have 1 access point, and then the main access is off Southern Boulevard. So the traffic increase hasn't been an issue or a concern of staff during the review process.
Thank you.
There's one more thing I'd like to add. I just spoke with the applicant, and he said that they also don't schedule a lot of, they don't over schedule burials at simultaneous times. So
Okay, right,
they
that's a
stagger
good
them
point,
throughout
yeah.
the day.
Yeah, that was my concern as a traffic, because, the flow comes from these main streets, and I've been one of them, coming into the service, so. And you've answered my question, thank you.
Okay, if there are no, excuse me, if there are no further comments, can I get a motion?
Comments from the public?
I already asked.
I'd like to make a motion to approve 17-0058 as read.
I'll second that motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. Okay, on to item 2. Application number 19-036 AAR.
Yeah, and at this time, I'll turn to the commission and ask if there are any ex parte communications with regard to 19-036 that need to be disclosed.
No.
Thank you.
Okay, if you'll direct your attention to the screen, this project is Meineke at Waterway Plaza. The gas station is out front, the Dunkin' Donuts is to the north, and the Village Royale Shopping Center is to the south. It is on the west side of Royal Palm Beach Boulevard. And the applicant is proposing new signage, 3 new wall signs, one which is going to read Meineke, and the other 2 signs will be non-illuminated vinyl channel letters, which will be located over the repair bay doors. The applicant has supplied color renderings of each sign, as well as color samples for the commission's review. The applicant is also proposing to repaint the building utilizing the following colors: Sherwin-Williams Eider White, number 7014, Sherwin-Williams Iron Ore 7069, and Sherwin-Williams Tricorn Black 6258. The applicant has supplied color renderings of each sign as well as color samples for the commission's review, and the applicant has provided color elevations showing where each color will be used on the building. So here is the Meineke sign. You can see the colors are yellow and black on that. Oh, let me just skip back. The criteria that you're supposed to judge signage on is signage shall be made compatible with the adjacent structures and buildings to which it is attached. There should be harmony in texture, lines, and masses in the design of the signage. The height and scale of the signage elements should be considered with reference to the spatial relationships within the development and adjacent structures or rights of way. The incorporation of identifying characteristics of certain signage, such as trademarks or logos, will be given strong consideration in light of the importance such elements play within the current marketplace towards properly identifying goods and services offered on site. Lighting shall enhance the signage, but excessive brightness and brilliant colors should be avoided. So that's the Meineke sign. Also, the commission shall consider the compatibility of the proposed color with those of adjacent structures and the resultant harmony of the area in which the change is proposed. The commission's recommendation regarding paint color of all exterior components of a building or change of same shall be final, subject, however, to an appeal to the village council, which must be filed within 10 days of the commission's decision. Colors should be harmonious. Bright and brilliant colors are encouraged to be used only for accent. And this is a elevation drawing showing the colors of the signage. The Meineke will be yellow. The other 2 signs will be white and non-illuminated. And the bay doors, all the colors were labeled on the elevations that were in your packet, because it's kind of hard to distinguish on the slide, the difference in the iron ore and the other colors. The tricorn black. Village staff is recommending approval of the application as submitted. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Is the applicant present? Yes. Would you like to make any comments? You can step up here.
Good evening. My name is Bob Coop. Project and representing The colors themselves, the two shades of black and the higher white, which is kind of an off-white, which is the main body of the building.
Oh, yeah, turn it on. There. Yeah, there you go, the middle button. There you go.
There you go.
Thank you. And so the Hydro White is an off-white, which is the body of the stucco, and the two colors of black are accents for the overhead doors and the fascia. As Kevin mentioned, the Meineke sign is yellow, which is their standard trademarked sign, and the two out of three bay doors will have smaller signs in white letters over it, and each of the three bay doors will have a gooseneck light fixture, which would be the yellows to match the Meineke sign.
And the gooseneck lights will match the color of the sign, Meineke sign?
Yes. So I've got some actual color samples to put together, which was what's been submitted to the staff already. Again, it's their standard colors used all around the country. So if you have any questions, I'd certainly like to answer them.
Great.
No questions.
I have no questions.
No questions?
None, no questions.
Do we have any comments from the public? Okay. So then, I ask for someone to make a motion.
Make a motion, we accept application number 19036 as read.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Good luck.
Carries 5-0.
Good luck.
Our next item, our last item, is application number 19-054 AAR.
Do you want your samples here? Do you need these?
You want these back?
Yeah.
All right, take them back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And take care, Meineke.
yeah, good luck.
Thank you.
You were finished reading? Were you all finished? Did you?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I'll turn back to the commission now and ask if there are any ex parte communications with regard to 19-054 that need to be disclosed.
No.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, if you'll direct your attention to the monitor, the three buildings in the Village Professional Park, lots 1, 3, and 9, are the subject of the Architectural and Aesthetics Review approval. To make changes to the approved architecture for buildings 1, 3, and 9 of the Village Professional Park, the applicant is proposing to use different paint colors, change the decorative columns, and modify the number, size, and location of windows and doors. The applicant is proposing to use flat gray roof tile in lieu of the approved terracotta barrel tile previously approved for this development. The applicant proposes to utilize 2 new colors on the 3 above mentioned buildings. The proposed paint colors are PPG 1012-3 tinsel for the body and PPG 11001-1 for all of the accent and trim. The applicant has provided color samples and elevation drawings of the proposed buildings for the Commission's review. The applicant has indicated that they will provide samples of the roof tile at the meeting, and staff is recommending approval. The criteria that you should be using is architectural style is not restricted. Evaluation of a project should be based on quality of its design and relationship to the surroundings. Structure shall be a proportionate size to be in harmony with permanent neighboring development. Components such as windows, doors, eaves, and parapets shall have balanced proportions in relationship to one another. Colors shall be harmonious, bright or brilliant colors are encouraged to be used only for accent. Design attention should be given to mechanical equipment or other utility hardware on roofs, buildings, and at grades so as to screen them from view. Exterior lighting should be part of the architectural concept. Fixture standards and all exposed accessories should be harmonious with building design. and monotony of design in a single or multiple building project shall be avoided. Variety of detail, form, and siding shall be used to provide visual interest. In multiple building projects, variable siding of individual buildings may be used and is encouraged to prevent a monotonous appearance. So the applicant has provided elevations of the buildings, and they've highlighted in yellow the areas where some of the changes are occurring. The columns on the front of the building will be slightly different than the existing columns on the other buildings. The windows are going to be a little bit shorter than the windows on the other buildings, and on on two of the buildings, windows facing Royal Palm Beach Boulevard are going to be eliminated, and they're going to put the decorative hatch pattern, which will have a border around it to emulate windows. These are the side elevations that are proposed. Again, the colors are going to be different than the other buildings. I think they're various shades of tan on the existing buildings. So having said that, village staff is recommending approval of the application as submitted. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Well, I look at you, sir. Are you the applicant? Did you have any comments for us, or would you like to say?
No, happy to answer any questions if you have any, but otherwise I don't.
Can you just state your name for the record, sir?
Right.
Thank you, and to the microphone.
Sure, it's Rhett Waldman.
Thank you.
Any questions?
No questions?
No questions?
No questions with me.
Done. That's
You
done.
guys made this an easy one, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and you're the public too. Do you have any comments?
Okay.
I guess if we're done, then I need a motion to approve application 19-054.
I'll make a motion to approve application 19-54 as is.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you, well, good luck.
Great.
Our next meeting is on August 27th, and if there's no further ado, then we're adjourned.
Yep.
Oh, I do.